Well, we're all set up and ready for some practice here at 200 yards. I'll put a couple down to verify my zero, and we'll hope that the rain holds off. Okay, well, I put a few sighters downrange, and we've got a little bit of a headwind kind of quartering from the left. You can't see my display there, but it's looks like about 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. A little bit from the left, it's a headwind. Found at a 6 o'clock hold with no light and about a half of a blade of windage correction is keeping me in the 10 ring. So I'm just gonna have to be disciplined and keep an eye on what the wind does. There is some weather coming. It's gonna probably start some thunderstorming here. Oh, I don't know, right after we get done shooting. If we back up here and look at the sky, you can see that it's coming. It's just a matter of time. There's the flag. So it's pretty much showing a headwind a little bit from the left. And say it's a little blustery, so probably figure 10 mile an hour. So in a direction that's only gonna be about a value correction. But yeah, this weather could change at any minute, so we're just gonna have to watch that wind and make appropriate corrections. Like I said, we're here on lane 11, and we'll wait till it's time to start the course of fire. Well, about 10 minutes to go until we switch over to the course of fire. I got my rounds all set. Weather's starting to turn on us. We're gonna have to hope that it stays okay here because it's starting to thunderstorm. We got thunder to the northeast, but the line is coming. We're just gonna have to do our shooting and hope that everything goes okay. We might get a little bit wet changing targets.
Watch this for me.
Yes, I will.
I'm going to put just one round down.
Well, okay, it's 1 o'clock. We're supposed to start setting up targets for the 200-yard course of fire. We got thunder and rain here, so.
A couple on this one, then we'll go down and change target. We could probably set up all the. You got the big magic marker?
Yeah, there's the thunder. Not so bad to the south, but to the north and east, we're getting a little bit bumpier. You can see it's kind of clouded up and gotten kind of icky. They're forecasting some pretty bumpy thunderstorms here for this afternoon, evening. This is just the start of it, so we should still be able to shoot, but we'll see what's going on. Well, we might have another competitor rolling in. We'll see how it goes. Yep, I think we're gonna have to deal with some intermittent on and off rain and thunderstorms. Like I said, looking here to the south, it isn't bad at all, so we might get a break and it might open right back up. The wind did change from that 5, 6, 7 mile an hour kind of quartering headwind to pretty calm right now, but just a kind of a steady rain right now. We'll just see how it goes. We'll keep plugging along. We got to go down and change some targets, so I got the big umbrella. So we'll just deal with it.
Okay, let's go down.
Well, okay, I put the rifle back in the case. It's a good old-fashioned toad washer here in southern Michigan. The rain's coming sideways, we're flooding out. We'll all put our stuff kind of sort of away. That's what we're dealing with right now. I think it's going to straighten up once this wall passes. It's a real narrow band, so we should be able to get through it. Get our shooting in afterwards, but right now, it's a mess.
okay. We might get a little bit wet here. We'll be alright. Target camera's getting a little wet. We'll be okay. Get it all dialed in once the rain stops.
Well, it's starting to get a little bit better. It's seeing some light in the sky. I think this initial line of storms is going to pass by and give us a little bit of decent weather behind it, unless other things build up quickly. This one built up real quick and started to dissipate. We still got a lot of thunder, but starting to see some light in the sky. This is looking north, roughly northwest. You can see stormy cumulus build up. But just standing here at the shooting line, firing line underneath the roof. It's noisy with the steel roof, but it's starting to slow down. All of our targets blew down. We're going to have to go reset those. It did kind of close into the south, and there's a lot of thunder to the south as this line passes. We'll just have to see how it goes. We should get good enough weather to shoot here pretty soon, but yeah, it got dark, blew hard, lots of rain, but I think we'll be okay to get this shoot in. As soon as this kind of lightens up a little bit more, we'll get down there and change the targets and see what we can do. Well, okay, the rain has stopped. It's calm for right now. Lots of thunder to the south as that line comes across the state, but we'll get down there and change the targets here in a couple minutes. But I think while there's a delay and a break in the action, I think I'm going to have my cookie. Well, our targets got all mangled in that thunderstorm, and Bob and Mike are going to drive down there and put up some clean ones. 200 yards down. Hope he doesn't get stuck. The range might be a little soggy. Oh, there's a little more lightning. So they're heading down to change them out. The closer backstop's 200. The far one down there in the trees, that's 300. It fared a little better. Targets down there look like they're still alive. Okay, here we are. We got a break in the weather. Gonna start our course of fire at 200 yards. So I'm all set up. Spot and scope's all set up. Okay, from practice, the wind dope is totally different. It was a headwind from the left front. Now it's nothing. So I'm going to go right straight back at a straight on hold and see what we come up with. I was having to hold at a no light 6 o'clock, so that's what I will start with. Oh, lightning. We may get wet again, but here we go. This is 12 shots, best 10 for score, 200 yards, iron sight, 6.5 by 55 Swede. And here we go. All right, I'm starting to feel that wind come. The wind did come back a little bit from left to right, so I am not going to hold straight on. I'm going to give it about a quarter of a blade into the wind for shot number 1. Okay, shot number 1 is downrange. Okay, we have got a, they changed targets, so I'm not sure what the score rings are on these. We're on the second ring. It's equivalent to about a 9, I think. We'll call it second ring at 5 o'clock. So I need a little bit more hold in the wind. The wind is changed significantly in just the last 2 minutes. It is coming much stronger from the left now. I am going to double my wind correction, and I am going to come up to a little less than a no light 6 o'clock hold. Half of a blade into the wind. Not seeing the shot. The light is going away. We're starting to get... That might be right there with the other one. I'm not seeing it. I'm going to use the same hold. I like that hold. Let's see if I can see the shot. So number 2, I'm going to call no call. Maybe I'll pick it up when the light changes. Shot number 3. Okay, I've got one that I overcorrected on the wind apparently. So we'll call that off. Left and high. Yeah, the wind is starting to get a little tricky. It's blustery. I'm going to go back to a normal hold because that went well left. I don't know if I jerked it, bad alignment or what, but it was a poor shot. So let's go right back at the middle. Okay, that's at 6 o'clock in the first ring. It's a good shot. Needs to come up. Have to pay attention to the wind. All right. Need to come up a little bit. Feels like the wind is slowed a little bit. I'm gonna go center hold on windage and come up just a little bit. Not sure, the target is really hard to read right now. Okay, that's a 10. It's in the 10 ring. Shot number 5 is in the 10, and it's about 7:30. So I'm gonna use the same hold, straight on hold, no wind correction. It's calm. Ooh, lightning. Okay, I think that came maybe a little bit to the left. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a shoot and see target, and I think in the rain it got the surface of it is weird. It's really hard to read it. If anything, I'm going to call it a no call, but if anything, it appeared to be left and a tiny bit low. I am not going to change the windage. I'm just going to try to bring it up just a little bit because everything seems to be just a smidgen low. That's a tough adjustment to make because it covers the target when you make it. Okay, that's a 10. That is a 10 at 230. That is the right hold. Or no, wait a minute, put that wrong thing. Shot 7 was a 10 at 230. So now we're going to shot 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, here's shot number 8. Same hold. The wind has not changed. It seems the same. Okay, that is out to the right a little bit. It's a scoring shot, but it's in the 1, 2, 3. It's in the 4th ring at 230. I don't know if I don't see any movement in the trees down there. That may have been either a sighting issue or a trigger issue on my part, but I'm not going to change the hold. I'm going to stay the same. Okay, that came back the other way. That's in the 1, 2, 3. It's in the outside of the 3rd ring. It's in the 3rd ring at about 6, about 8 o'clock. I'm gonna call it 7:30. Okay, I need to get a shot to score a little higher here. I don't know if the wind's doing something goofy down there that I'm not seeing, or if it's me. That one's right next to it. Those two shots are in the same place. That's weird. Why did that change to be way down there? So it's not me. So here's the call. Do I make the correction or do I? Because those two shots just all of a sudden printed down there together. Something has changed in the conditions. In the old days, I would have taken half the correction. Today, I'm going to take the full correction. Because even if I only need half the correction, I'm just going to blow it out the other side and score the same as if I did nothing. No pain, no gain. Take the full correction. And that was the right answer because I got a 10 I scored a 10 at about 00:30. So taking the full correction was the right call. One more shot. Let's see if I can execute that same one again. It's worked 3 shots in a row, so let's try it. Take that full correction. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Okay, and that came 1, 2, the third ring at 3:30. It didn't go where I expected. Third at 3:30. Okay, well, there's what I got. Some of those shots I cannot see on the target, I'm guessing. I see little marks on the target, but they don't look like shots, so I think I know where they're at. I only see one target that's out of the scoring area, and that's where I took a big bite into the wind when the wind came up and then went away. But that's going to be my throwaway shot. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. I think we'll do okay. Don't know what the score is going to be till we look at it, but the lighting down there is really bad, and the surface of that target it's wrinkled, so I'm having a hard time making the spot. But once we get them scored, I'll follow up after that. Okay, the rain is holding up good enough for us to. We just finished our bolt action shooting, and the other guys shot their auto loaders. I did not bring an auto loader today, so I was just kind of sitting this one out, having some water. Bob and Mike are down there scoring targets. I think we're going to be kind of informal today because well, there's only 3 of us with the weather, and then everything got soaking wet during that squall that came through. So I think that we each shot on a different type of target for the bolt action one, or maybe one of us is different than the other 2. I'm not sure. So we're probably not going to have really competitive scores to compare. But when they get my target back up here, I'll get a picture of it and show everybody what that looks like, and see if we can't make sense of what my calls were. But right now the weather's holding off. It's calmed down quite a bit. The wind comes and goes as things change. There's a lot of lightning down south of us here that I've been watching. When I was shooting my course of fire, I often saw lightning when I was looking down range and whatnot. So we'll see how this all goes, and I'll keep you posted. Well, I decided to go ahead and take a walk down here to the 200-yard backstop and get a look at my target here. And like I said, I was having a hard time spotting them. You can see this one right here. Because everything's wet, they kind of blended in and didn't do real good. But let's count my shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one gets thrown out. I've got 1. See, I was down here and I was wondering, should I make a half correction or should I go all the way? So I went all the way. But anyway, I'll go ahead and take this down and take it back, and we'll talk to you guys in a minute. Now we're heading back down to the shooting bench. Mike and Bob are in the truck. They're ahead of me, but I'm walking back. Exercise is good for me. Boy, after that rain, the mosquitoes are starting to come out. This range is kind of in the swamp. You can see over here, you know, we're at roughly 150 yards right now, and you can see it's pretty swampy, so the mosquitoes can get vicious. But you know, you're looking back towards the firing line now, and Bob and Mike just parked the truck, so we'll walk back. And I got my soggy target. Rain. This was all real dry before that squall came through, and you can see those clouds. They're building again. There's off there to the southeast, you can see some of the stuff that's building south of us a little there, but there is more coming. There's probably a couple hours before we get the next real line. That line that came through here a little while ago was kind of a pop-up with just the weather, but it's starting to get that warm, humid feeling again here after that first squall passed. So we'll get back to the bench here, and they got, I think, 14 shooting lanes here. You can see the benches up there, and they're all set up. And there's my white van over there to the right. But we'll take a look at how the target scored. I think it's only about an 80 because I got down into the 6 ring a fair amount, shooting a little low. And this rifle did shoot a little bit low. My practice sighting it in the other day at 200, so that doesn't surprise me. I did keep bringing the hold up, but when I practiced here, when I first got here, the wind was a headwind from the front and left. So, you know, I had it pretty much dialed, and everything changed after that storm came through. So it was calm, and then it was coming from the left and kind of changed. So the holds changed, and of course the way things looked downrange changed. And so took me a while to get enough up back into this, but we did get it around, and we're Only had one that didn't score, so that was a throwaway anyway, so we're in good shape. So I'll go over this target here in a minute and we'll be all set. Well, the guys are going down to score their 300-yard targets that they were shooting with the scoped guns, and we're starting to get an angry sky again. It's getting a little rumbly up there, blowing through, temperatures dropping again, winds changing. So I haven't looked at the weather map, but doesn't seem quite as fast moving as that other batch was, but it is coming. You can hear it. So it's only a matter of time. It's going to get wet again, so they're hustling down to score their targets, and then we'll sit around and shoot the bull for a few minutes. So I think I probably ended up in second place on that iron sight. I think Mike had a little bit better target than me. They scored my target 80. I scored it as a 82. It doesn't matter. It's still second place, either one it is. So we'll see how it goes. Well, it's time for the Monday morning quarterbacking. A lot nicer weather today than it was on Saturday. Yesterday wasn't bad either. I did a lot of shooting yesterday on Sunday, the day after the match. But anyway, let's go over the target real quick so that I can show you what I came up with. So anyway, here's the target, and as you can see, it's a little wrinkly and got soggy in that rainstorm. And you know, this target is a challenging target at 200 yards. This distance from here to here on this target, where it's down to a 6, that's equivalent to the 9 ring on an NRA standard 200-yard target. So when you look at these scores and shots on these matches down there at Hillsdale, you kind of got to keep that in mind and not be too hard on yourself, because you know the vast majority of the shots on this are at minimum a 9, and some are 10s and maybe even an X if on that other target. So you know you got to really kind of qualify your numbers. Now granted, everybody shoots the same target, so it really doesn't matter what number they assign, but as far as judging your own performance with a Milsurp rifle, this is not a bad target. So let's look at my shots. You know, my first one, I called that one the second ring at 5. So you know, when I didn't know what these values on these rings were, so I counted them 1, 2. So there's the number 1 shot right there. So that one scores as an 8. And then I had no call on the number 2 shot. That's because I took a wind correction as the wind gusted up, and it was too much, and I ended up just off of this shoot and see target up here. It would have been the equivalent of an 8 on an NRA target, but on this target it's a no score. So that was shot number 2. Shot number 3, actually I think I'm calling that wrong. Number 2 was a no call, and it ended up being, I believe, this shot right here, or one of these. We'll get to it in a minute. I'm kind of lying to you. This number 3 was the one that was off the left hand of the target, because when I thought I was spotting shot number 2, I made the wind correction. And then number 4 was a first ring at 6, which is this one right here, this 9. Then I had a 10 at 7:30, which was this one, after I made a little bit of correction up. And then 6, I did a no call, which was probably one of the ones around in here as well, down in this area. And then I had a 10 at 2:30, which was this one right here. And then I had a 4th ring at 2:30, which was this one right here, which is the equivalent of 7 on this target. It's a solid 9 on an NRA target. 3rd ring at 7:30, which would have been one of these 2 down here. And then I shot another 3rd ring at 7:30, which was down here. And then that's when you'll hear me in the video making the corrections, where I decided, gee, do I want to take half the correction? Because I had 2 shots in a row down here. I'm like, do I want to take half the correction just in case? And I made the call of, no, let's take the full correction that I think I need, because even if I take twice as much as I should, I'm still going to end up here scoring the same as I did here. So I took the full correction, and it was a good shot. I ended up with a 10 at 0030, which was this one right here. So it's a good thing that I did take the full correction. And then I had the 3rd ring at 3:30, which was this guy right here. So my no calls very well may have been this one up here, which was in the 1, 2, 3, the 4th ring up here at, you know, say 1 o'clock or so. I think that's one of my no calls, and I think that this one out here in the 4th ring at roughly 9 o'clock was a no call. So those are my 2 no calls, and then I had the one that was off the target up here. So the way this target ends up scoring is there's 11 hits on it. They take the best 10, so we throw away one of the ones that's out in the 6th ring. So that ended up being like a 82, I believe, if I add it all up again. But there you go, that's the target that we shot down there. Oh, my scorecard's blown away. I better grab that before I lose it. I'm out here at the picnic table and it's a little bit windy. So yeah, here we go. Got that back in. And here's the ammo that I shot, and the load that I was running is pretty simple. It's 44 grains of IMR 4831. Typical, you know, this brass had been run. This was the 3rd reload, so I'd run this brass twice. I believe this is Norma brass. Actually, it was the Federal brass. A bunch of 6.5 brass came from Gun Fun ZS, I think. Who was it? Gun Fun ZS? And another YouTuber sent me a fair amount of 6.5 brass, and that's what I ended up using for this. I've run these a few rounds. You can see where it was annealed, and then the same load over here in this Federal. This was a soft point bullet that I was shooting just because I had them. You know, this was not meant to be anything super special. It's just some 6.5 ammo for doing the normal things that I do. But there's your load data. Hornady 140 Rub 9.5 primer. And then that was the 2nd reload down there, yep. And then the 3rd reload was on the rest of the cards. So these ones down here that say makeup, that was the ones that I shot to practice with the other day. I came up with a little bit more Norma and Federal brass that was one firing behind these, so I just loaded them and threw them in a little box and used them up for practice. But there you go, that's what we had for our milsurp shoot with the 6.5 Model 38 6.5 Swede. Very enjoyable rifle to shoot. You can hear the train going by. Yeah, it's nice out this morning. Good to get some fresh air. There's the target. We ended up 2nd place. I'll talk to everyone later.